Y'all want to hear some shit to really blow y'all's mind this morning?
As a side hustle, he digs graves for a living, and he just realized that when he was lifting a casket, it didn't weigh anything. And it was apparently because there was no body in it. So his mind is shattered because it's like, what are they doing with the bodies? What have they not done with our bodies when we give them away to these weirdos who own these institutions? Naturally, in our indigenous cultures, we bury the bodies of our loved ones on our land, on our backyards. We return them back to the soil in which they came from through ceremony and ritual. Those lands then become our sacred lands for generations. But beyond that, how would you know what they do with your deceased loved one's body if you're not watching it or monitoring it 24/7? If you're not there when your loved one transitions and their body goes to a morgue, a mortuary, whatever those things are to process the body, if you're not there, do you really know what they're doing with them? As a birth worker, I deal with a lot of life and death, mostly life, but I've had my own experiences with losing my daughter in the wake of the 2020 pandemic, and I had to make all the choices of what happens to my daughter's body after she leaves it. In my culture, we believe that we cremate the body so that it can return back to the soil, but also as a form of protection, that there is no negative affliction to the body when it's not being protected by us. For example, have you ever heard about the weird stories of what was done to Marilyn Monroe's body after she died? People were actually having sexual relations with her body after she died. Like, this is an actual weird practice that weird people do. Also in ancient Egypt and all these places where there are sacred bodies that are in pyramids or buried in sacred lands are dug up, and it used to be or still is a practice where they eat these bodies remains because they think that they can invoke the power or the energy of these very powerful people who once lived. Well, even us in the Caribbean islands, there are some cemeteries that have cages around them, or some people, I guess, they pay to have guards to secure their loved ones' tombstones so that if your loved one was buried with like gold jewelry or expensive clothes, so nobody will break into the tombstone and rob the things that they were wearing. Yeah, this shit is crazy. It really happens. I highlight this to remind you of your autonomy and the right that you have over your spiritual practice, whatever you seem to deem fit for your belief system. But do know that whenever you bury a loved one, their body is not safe and it's not secured. I'm not trying to convince you to cremate your family members, but based on my belief system, that's what we do to ensure that they go back to the soil and that their bodies are never, ever, ever tampered with. Sidebar. I've heard a practice that I now even believe is important that some Asian cultures do, that when they're even cremating the body, they're right there in that room where that body's being cremated, just to make sure that the body has its proper send-off and nothing else is being done without the family's consent. Remember, you are in control of your life and in your body and of your body and of your loved ones. So stay autonomous.